From the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications, your home for the latest Marshall University news and sports, you're watching MU Report.
Good afternoon, and thanks for joining us for this fourth edition of MU Report Fall 2017. I'm Adam Stephens.
And I'm Erik Woods. We are a student-produced newscast of the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Marshall University. And we air this broadcast not only on West Virginia Public Broadcasting, but also Network West Virginia and YouTube. Now, on to our top story.
The expected numbers are not as strong, and turns out everyone is still waiting for the official head count. We are talking about a critical tally of freshman enrollment and overall enrollment for fall 2017, and that number is important to the university's financial health. The figures were promised mid-October, but early estimates suggest a drop of more than 30% is possible. As Tonight Belay reports, it's sobering, and it's an issue for almost every school in the state.
After word from Marshall University President Jerome Gilbert that enrollment remained stagnant for the 2017-2018 school year, the conversation of recruitment gained university attention.
West Virginia is not the most prosperous state, and there are lots of financial struggles among the residents, and I'd say a lot of people couldn't afford it.
While some students say they believe the significant cuts West Virginia higher education received this year are straying people away from college, Cedric Gathing says this issue stems from a problem not specific to Marshall.
I don't think it's a Marshall problem. I think that nationally there have been fewer students to graduate from high school. So it's not necessarily people not interested in Marshall, it's just we had fewer students to graduate this year.
Although the decrease in enrollment will soon cause more budget cuts, Tammy Johnson says the university is doing everything they can to push recruitment even more.
We are in the process of reviewing every single interaction that we have with students and families. That could be online interaction, it could be in person at recruitment events, it could be visits to campus. Any opportunity we have to interact meaningfully with a student or their family, we want to make that the best interaction that it can be.
Many students say the cost of attending college is quickly becoming a deciding factor of whether to enroll. But Marshall's recruitment team says student investments now will pay off in the end. Tonight Belay, MU Report.
Few other issues have taken up so much time at Marshall as A, trying to balance the budget with cuts from the state, B, predicted additional cuts, and C, where to find the cash to either make up the difference or at least ease the pain the cuts cause. And it's why even something like a picnic has taken on new urgency. Enrollment issues have added pressure to Marshall recruiters. They say the need for more students has never been greater.
With recruitment and admissions and reporting to student affairs, so we're just having to be very innovative and creative with selling Marshall.
That's what makes events like this picnic even more important.
Every year that the state cut funding, we collectively, as an institution, we have to look at our budget and say, how are we going to make up that shortfall? Marshall has already doubled its recruitment budget. Now administrators are appealing to anyone with ties to Marshall for help getting the head count up. Institutions are looking outside of the United States. How can we expand recruiting in other areas? As West Virginia lawmakers continue to cut the budget for universities, the price of admission also goes up and enrollment goes down. This puts an added pressure on leaders in higher education to create new ways to attract students. As MU Report shared earlier this fall, President Gilbert says a tuition increase actually did more to cover the budget gap than what he had hoped for.
Let's turn from financial health to student health. A group recently organized what's called a swab drive on campus to try and get bone marrow transplant matches for a Marshall student in need.
One swab is all it takes.
It's always nice to do something for other people.
Members of DKMS, a group committed to finding donors for those in need of bone marrow transplants, hosted a swab drive outside of the Student Center to find potential matches and donors.
The mission is to find people who have leukemia, lymphoma, a bone marrow match. Those people can usually find them through their families, but if they can't, we're kind of building up the registry to find people who need a bone marrow donor their match.
Potential donors can be matched with anyone on the National Bone Marrow Registry. However, this swab drive was held specifically for Marshall sophomore Autumn Cole, who was diagnosed with leukemia in 2016. Cole went into remission shortly after her diagnosis, but has recently relapsed and is in need of a bone marrow transplant.
I think seeing someone within our Marshall community is kind of what's pulling more people in. She is a nursing student, and me being in the nursing program, having classes with her, just even if I don't know her that well, that kind of pulls a little bit of my heartstrings.
You don't know like how much of an impact you can make on another person. Like if I am a potential donor for someone, that I could save their life, I could help them out.
Step 1, fill out the paperwork. Step 2, swab the inside of your cheeks. And Step 3, give your swab to the workers, who will then send them off to be processed.
If I were in that situation, I would want someone to attempt to help me, so it's important to educate people about the ways of donation and how they can get involved, because they never know when they might be in that situation.
Every little bit helps for something like this, and know that you could save someone's life is just kind of, it's amazing. It's a huge ordeal to me.
Though the likelihood of matching with someone is less than 1%, officials say that it does happen and that each swab is one step closer to potentially helping someone in need.
DKMS scheduled 2 events for Autumn Cole on the Student Center Plaza already. For those who missed the 2 drives but still want to become potential donors, visit dkms.org.
On Marshall's campus, Muslims say they try daily to break through stereotypes and dispel myths about their faith. Kayla Simmons reports on their efforts.
I think misconceptions in the Islamic faith is really seen through media, where the media shows us as villains, as somebody who's against being a part of society, against people who act inhumane. And so that's something that, so something with our Islamic Awareness Week is showing that we are just like anybody else. We are part of society. We are human.
With an ever-changing world, Marshall University's Muslim Student Association is attempting to change the views that some students may have about the Islamic faith.
And so growing up, I always got, I guess, bullied for like stuff with like 9/11, saying like I would always have people like tell me, "Oh, Lena, you were part of that. Like your religion was a part of that." But like honestly, like I didn't know what was happening until when I got to high school.
Muslim organizations and events on campus are some of the best ways to learn about the Islamic faith. In this day and age, it's important to be careful of where you get your information.
I feel like even if you did want to know a lot about Islam, you really don't have a lot of, most people don't know where to go and they don't have a lot of options. And because, you know, if you want to learn about something, people like usually go on the news, and it might not be the best way to learn about Islam.
If you couldn't make it to the on-campus events and would like to learn more about the Islamic faith, you can contact the Muslim Student Association. Kayla Simmons, MU Report.
MU Report is going to take a quick break, but when we return, Courtney Andrews will bring us sports.
The William Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications has been a part of Marshall University's history since 1926. Today, the school offers 7 degree programs including advertising, radio and television production, sports reporting, public relations, and broadcast, online, and print journalism. SOJMC prepares students for the opportunities and challenges of the industry. Professional-oriented courses as well as hands-on learning environments help students gather real-world experience before stepping out into their field of choice. And with a vast variety of student-run clubs and organizations, students always have the chance to better their skills. The W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications combines classroom and hands-on learning environments to provide students with the background necessary for future employment in the field of mass communications, and continues today to produce award-winning content through a variety of majors.
You're watching MU Report. I'm Erik Woods.
And I'm Adam Stevens. As promised, Courtney is in with sports.
Thanks, guys. This past weekend, Marshall Athletics had its fill of events, and men's soccer secured their spot in the conference tournament this past weekend with a win. Marshall football lost at home in a dreary game against Florida International, and the men's basketball team had its first exhibition game against West Virginia Tech. But first, Marshall University's Into program partnered with the Rec Center to bring a sport from, well, let's just not say from around here, to students who originally are not from here themselves. Cricket is pretty foreign to most folks, but Sabrina Hurst takes us inside the game.
Marshall University's Into program is constantly working with on-campus activities to find new ways to invite an audience.
Working at the Rec Center, we're always trying to find ways to bring in new types of students, different audience. The international student audience is pretty significant here, especially for Indian students.
Cricket was one opportunity to help make Into students feel more involved and at home.
Cricket, I did play. It's something like a passion for me. Back in India, cricket is more like a religion. At least 99% of people follow, love, or play cricket.
Cricket is comparable to the American sport baseball, and Marshall University students can potentially expect to see more cricket events on campus.
Cricket was actually invented by England. So this game consists of 22 members overall, played by 11 members in a team. So it is quite similar to baseball.
Behind the fun and games was a lot of planning.
Well, a lot of the planning started from just having students being interested in cricket and asking about it. We had a club team here last year that we always saw playing. They were always asking if we can get a league started. And after talking to them, after working with Vinay, it all kind of just came about all at once.
Sabrina Hurst, MU Report.
Cricket is a game played all over the world, and now Marshall's campus can play too. There's actually a league coming soon. In other sports, Marshall's football team lost to FIU as mentioned, 41-30, and the Herd was plagued by turnovers, which would end up costing them the game. They are now 6-2 overall and 3-1 in conference play. The Herd had more first downs and total offensive yards than the Golden Panthers, but they ultimately could not recover from those costly turnovers. The Thundering Herd flies to Boca Raton to take on Lane Kiffin's Florida Atlantic team on Saturday, November 4th. Herd fans were able to catch their first glimpse of the men's basketball team on Sunday when they had their first exhibition game against West Virginia Tech. The Herd won 99-81. C.J. Burks led the team in points, scoring 23, with 5 of his field goals from 3. Austin Penaville led the team in assists with 5, and Milan Mikovic led in rebounding. The men's team hosts West Virginia Wesleyan for its second exhibition game on November 5th at home at 7 o'clock.
October is known across the nation for its spooky themes and festive activities. A local Halloween hotspot is lit up brighter than ever with thousands of unique pumpkin designs. As Brooke Griffin reports, there is one tradition in West Virginia that is a little different than the others.
October is the month to dig in to carve that favorite pumpkin design. And in one West Virginia town, it's not just one. Try thousands.
And in fact, people in town always say, I can tell it's near Halloween when I see the trailers pull up with all the boxes of pumpkins. Our area, and more specifically, our state, has developed a pride in the pumpkin house, that we have a unique display that brings people from all over the country.
An estimated 30,000 to 50,000 people will visit.
We had a gentleman here from Alabama, a couple from North Carolina, a girl from Philadelphia.
The house to see the 16th year of a display that Griffith says couldn't have been done without some help.
Thousands of volunteers come to our house and help us scoop, carve, and display 3,000 pumpkins. And I think that's one of the neat things about this. Wonderful people just walk into the backyard and say, how can I help?
Local churches, schools, and clubs have spent time helping in any way that they can.
Well, seeing how great it is, just knowing that you are a part of it, just means a lot. No matter how little the job is, just knowing you did something for it.
With over 3,000 pumpkins to carve, he said that he's always looking for young and old to come help carve everything from catchphrases to popular NFL teams.
The total amount of pumpkins carved has surpassed 60,000 as of this year, which is not expected to be the last.
As long as we're able, we're going to do it.
Griffith says that if he will carve it, they will come. Brooke Griffin, MU Report.
That's all the time we have for this edition of MU Report. Our newscast is completely generated by students of the W. Page Pitt School of Journalism and Mass Communications. We are glad you're watching. You can always catch this newscast on YouTube, and be sure to follow our reporters on Twitter and MU Report on Facebook. I'm Adam Stephens.
And I'm Erik Woods. Have a great day.